My name is Nick B, and let's jump into this week's futures overview. Now, I hope everyone's rested and feeling great. We had quite an interesting open just now. I'm very glad I sat last week out because really not much happened there. I'm not upset I didn't miss much. So let's jump in, starting with the Forex Factory economic calendar. Monday's quiet, Tuesday's quiet, Wednesday we have core CPI at 8:30. Thursday we have core PPI and retail sales, as well as unemployment claims at 8:30 a.m. And then Friday we have Empire State Manufacturing Index at 8:30, as well as preliminary consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. Okay, so most of the action is probably going to pick up after we have that CPI report. Again, you guys know the deal. No expectations on news. We're just going with the flow here. But this open just now was very interesting. We actually closed what last week around 15.3, about 100, not even. Where do we close? Right here at 15.312, and we just gapped up to 15.5. That's pretty crazy. Let's take a look at that on the hourly. Now, the same levels I had up from last week's quick overview are up here. That's the same ones I had up. Same ones are going to be playing out, and most likely we're going to keep our eyes on them. Nothing's really changed just yet. As a refresher, let's go over it starting with NQ. So we have our all-time highs at 16,767. Um, this 16K area, I don't have it plotted, but that's going to be kind of the next level that's going to take us into that all-time high territory. But for now, we have the psychological, and also it seems to be like the left shoulder and the right shoulder on NQ 15.5. This SNR level is pretty interesting. It's pretty. I'm still kind of like, wow, we just opened above 15.5. That's crazy. Well, let's see if overnight we go to fill the gap down towards 15.3 again. The pivot level of 15,265, I did mention it last week. As long as we stay above 15,265, we should be okay. I wouldn't make any sudden movements anywhere really between 14,700 and 15,260, and really 15,500, 15,265. We just have to keep in mind is an interesting level here. And again, we're still holding above it. Maybe into Monday, Tuesday, we fill the gap down and maybe bounce out of there, overtake 15.5, hold that area and go higher. Or we break below 15,265 and it's going to be the same song and dance. We're probably going to be stemming down towards 14,700. But until 14,700 breaks, I don't want to think about the possibilities of shorting. Below 14,700, sure. I wouldn't mind taking a short and targeting 14,250 to the downside, 14,300 area roughly. Below 14,3, as you know it, 13,750 still holding up this move to the upside. So let's see what we get into Monday's open. We're gonna let price action develop again. Oops. Just real quick, what I really want to see is, are we going to close this gap into Monday, into tomorrow's open, or are we just gonna kind of hang out around here? Let's see. Let's see. Intraday levels, I guess we could cover the intraday real quick. I'm not really looking for anything on the hourly or intraday. I'm not interested in none of the action going on here. Sure, there could be some early on confirmations and indications that we could go higher. For example, if we take out really 15,650, we're definitely probably going to be stemming up towards 15.9. That would probably be my area that I would target a break of. Originally last week it was 15.6. I really wanted to see a break of 15.6, and then if we could get a close above it on the hourly with a nice retest, we would look for an entry. But that didn't quite play out. We did get the break, but it was a false breakout. We kind of got sold back down to 15.5. 15.5 held until we finally didn't. So this area right here is more for, I think, to go long 15,650, get a break of that on the hourly, and I think I would first target 15.9 to the upside, and then go from there. Otherwise, again, anything in between here right now, even trying to short this on the possibility that this gap gets filled down, not interested. I just want to start this week off nice and easy, see kind of what the tempo, how the sentiment is around the market, and we'll take it from there. But those are our possibilities and our options on NQ. Um, and that's the main thing I'm targeting into next week. I would really like us above 15,650, and then I would like to go long targeting 15,900. Or again, if we break below 15,265 on until we get below 14,700, I don't want to do anything, and until we can prove that we can hold above 15,500 on NQ, I don't want to do anything either. So that's with NQ. Moving on to ES. Yes, perfect. Same thing. The same levels are left up from last week. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. Let's brush up on the all-time highs, 48.08. Then we have this pivot level at 46.30 and the other level at 43.25. That's essentially holding this whole move up to the upside. Similar to NQ, ES also seems to be having like a head and shoulders pattern here. You have your left shoulder, the head, right shoulder, and then the neckline, ironically, is around 43.70. This level here, 44.10, was the previous higher lows, and they seem to have held up quite well ever since we came down to 43.70, bounced off really the 100-day EMA on the daily, retook 43.70, and retook 44.10. We were able to head as high as 45.50, again rejecting that area and then coming back down. The intraday levels on ES from the range of 43.25 to 46.30 is coming out to be not a pain in the ass, but it's a little bit tedious, right? So anything that's going on here, it seems enticing to go long or short it, but not my cup of tea, at least from not I don't like what I'm seeing here. I would much rather I think I'm going to be aiming at a break of 45.50 into next week. If we can get a break of 45.50 on the hourly, get a close above there, I think we can easily target 4600 or even 4630 as the session highs, and then we'll take it from there. If we reject 4630, okay, maybe we could short it back down to 4550 or 4500. I wouldn't really want to short it, but that's just a possibility. Just saying, there's again, I like to make sure and clarify that there's no right or wrong way of trading. I know there's plenty of traders that do it different ways, and I'm trying to include them in this kind of analysis and at least include those scenarios in my thought process, just so you guys could understand where I'm coming from and why I'm choosing to execute on a trade there and not do it there, and vice versa. So again, same levels as last week, real quick. 45.50 we have up here is going to be the main target for me, at least if we want to go higher. 4500 as our psychological SNR. We had this open today, gapped up above 4500. Let's see if we fill this gap down into Monday's open before it or during Monday's session. We'll see. Again, 44.10. I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna actually remove this higher low, and should I leave it? You know what? No, I'll remove it just for now, just so I get a better idea of what the range is, because similar to NQ, between 14,700 and 15,500, it's very difficult to navigate and kind of time the zones between the support and resistance levels. You're essentially going off of momentum, trying to time it on momentum, which doesn't at least work out for me, so I try to avoid that. Whatever doesn't work for me, I try to avoid that. So unless NQ breaks below 14,700, I won't be shorting, and unless we get a break above 15.5, I won't look at going long. Similar, and ES right now is between 43.70. Well, really it's 43.25, but I'd like to keep the 43.70 higher lows just because they held up so well in mind. So we're really between 43.70 from last week, between 4,500 and 43.70. Now that we got that boost above 4,500, we're really looking at 45.50 as our next resistance level. And unless we can get above that, we're probably not going to be seeing 46.30. Let me break this down on the hourly. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, yeah. The real, I mean, the real main concern is, are we going to fill this gap by tonight and tomorrow's open, during tomorrow. I mean, let's see how that plays out. Um, if we do fill this gap and we fail to get back above 4500, and let's say we do break 4440, really 4440 is that main level. If we break back down below 4440, I probably expect to see 4420, knowing that ES likes to move in intraday, 20 points intraday. Then really 4410 is going to be our main focus, which was that previous higher low. Below 4410, we're probably going to be looking at 4370. Below 4370, our eyes are going to be on 4325. But if we do fill the gap and then we retake 4500, hold above it, again, I wouldn't make any sudden movements if we reclaim 4500, because you don't have that certainty. It could reject, it could fake out, you don't have that confirmation. I much rather be a little bit more confident, wait for the break of 4550, and then you can target 4630, 4600 at the minimum, and ride that wave up. Also, I see you have a little bit of a gap to fill here. Where is this stemming from? Roughly 4590 to 4600. So that's definitely going to be more interesting to see play out, if and when we get that break above 4550, rather than kind of gambling on the idea that price might take on a direction before we get any breaks. Um, Other than that, I mean, that's all she wrote. That's pretty much covers the upside, downside. Again, let's take a look at it on the big picture. We're really between 4370, I'll keep that in mind, and 4550 at the moment. The big picture for really the market direction, and depending on what we might see play out, is will ES break below 4325, or will we break above 4630? I say we break above 4630 first, because I don't see us going down any lower. Not yet, at least. Maybe in October, some seasonality, maybe a healthy pullback, or maybe we get to 4630 and pull back first. I mean, really, it's who really knows. But my sentiment is definitely leaning towards a breakout of 4630. I'd like to see that first, but really the true direction is either we get above 4630 and we head higher towards 4700, or we break below 4325 and we probably head towards 4200 and begin, shorting the rips up. That's with ES. With NQ, at the moment, like I mentioned, it was between 14,700 or 15,500 at the moment. The main ranges that we were in between is really 15,265 and 13,750. Bit of a tedious area, but we've climbed out of it so far, still holding above it. If we do break back below 15,265, I wouldn't be confident in necessarily short. You could, but again, I'm just disclaiming that would be timing momentum at that point. And you could time it down towards 14,700, but unless 14,700 breaks, I mean, the trend is your friend. The move is probably gonna get bought up. But again, if it does break 14,700, 14,300 is not a bad first area to the downside. But as long as we can hold above 15,265, if you take a look, it gives us room straight to 16K between, well, as long as price is above 15,265, the channel is really between 15,265 and 16K. So it's about probably when we're going to work our way through these intraday levels. So the first level is going to be 15.5. If we can finally manage to get above it on the intraday, we have 15.650, right? Roughly around there. And then we have 15.9. Once we get above 15.9, we should have a clear route towards 16K. And if and when we finally break above 16K, we're probably going to end up at 16,450, probably. And then we'll go from there. So, other than that, I mean, that's all she wrote. It was a very quiet week for me last week. I definitely enjoy that. I feel nice and relaxed, and definitely have a little bit more clarity. Got to sort some stuff out the way going on outside of trading. I do want to give a heads up, if you have something going on outside of trading, whatever it may be, most likely you should try to solve that and get that out of the way, calm it down, and because it at some point, somehow, I don't know how, but somehow it starts to affect your performance and kind of, how you're thinking. So I needed to get that squared away, but I'm definitely ready for this week. We had a pretty solid last week too. Carlos is the man, and I definitely recommend, if you guys haven't, to check out the Gara Live Market blog. It's free. Carlos updates it all the time. Let's actually bring it up right now. I just want to bring it up quick. Where are we at? Right here. It's awesome. I mean, it's awesome. There we go. Futures is open, and we're ready to get back to work. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great trading week ahead. I hope there's plenty of profits. And remember, reaction over prediction. So we have to wait for CPI, we have to wait for that news to play out, and then we could definitely maybe get some bangers in. So have a great week, and I'll update you guys with the Twitter blog and the threads and the IG stories. Cheers.